What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team.
We are live, dude. We're going again.
Oh, yeah.
It's Monday, dude. Just fucking recycling again, dude. We're back, dude.
And this is the red zone for the end of the year, because if you want to make progress for your goals for the year, even if you've made like zero progress up until this point, it's amazing how much progress you can make from here to December 31st.
It's true. You're absolutely right, dude. We're on the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it's true.
It's absolutely true. Actually, it's funny, too. I wanted to do something, too, where it's like, I keep always, I'm thinking about formatting for this a lot. And I think what we should do is a week-to-week case study on just one person. Just grab them up on Monday and just now being like, what's the plan for the week? And we're grabbing you back on Friday, and we're going to see if you did it.
Let's do it.
Obviously, we'll do the same thing. I have a bunch of shit I got to get done this week, so, you know, my feet are to the flames as well.
Let's do it, man.
So would anybody like to submit themselves to such a thing?
Oh.
Before we start, you know, if someone wants the extra little, you know, kick in the tucket, then let me know. And
We've got who's on Delco Gym, Scotty 19. I'm not sure that I know Scotty. Is he new?
I think Scotty's been kicking around. He's not able to pull up. Let me see here.
SVVD, Patty P, Matthew Bland.
Yes.
You got some other guys who haven't commented. Lucas. Yeah, Lucas is on there.
Well, actually, you know, we'll give people a second. But so here's what I got kicking this week, dude. I'm checking my little notes here. I must finish the second meditation thing for the psych-null thing. I've been working on it. But it's just, you know, it's one of those things where you start it and you go, oh man, it's going to take a bunch of extra work to get it like exactly how I like it. But it's looking like I did a lot of that annoying work last week, and I should have that done Friday at the latest. So that's the goal. And other than that, just kind of continuing on with my new little regimen, which is like wake up, do my meditation, do my journaling, record, like just see if I can. It's like fishing, doing the solo podcast or Patreon. I just talk and bullshit, and it's like, you know, I do it for an hour every morning. It's kind of cool. It's like a weird form of writing. So I do that, and then I just work out, and then I just do psych-null stuff. So I have, like I said weeks ago, I was trying to simplify my focus a little bit while still kind of hitting all my, you know, tending to all my little pans on the stove. Mm-hmm. And I found a nice balance right now, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
So you're doing the solo cast every day?
Yeah.
Or Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday. I don't put it out every day, but I just kind of like record stuff, see if I get stuff, and it's just talking. It's kind of fun, actually. But it's like, and I think about what you were saying last week of like, give it 100 times. So after I do 100 days, I'll reconsider. But I really enjoy it anyway. So, but it's pretty.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think just anything you can do at volume. It's just inevitable that you get to be a master at it.
Yeah, it's fun, man. That is true. I'm hoping for that, but it's a lot of fun, and it's just like, you know, it's just fresh. It's something I can do. It's new. It's like I can do more stuff with it. I can kind of fuck around different ways. It's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, awesome, man.
So what you got going this week?
So this is my last round of seminars for the year. I might even throw a bonus seminar in there in like November. But this is like, my chest feels like still a certain amount of pressure, trying to get this last one out of the door. And that would be a record. Once I complete this, it'll be a record, like, by far. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. And then it's just growing the company from there. I've got a whole bunch of projects. I still have to finish Rhomas University. And I think all the stuff that we talk about, it's important for the guys to know. And Matt, what you're saying with the meditations, everything takes 2 to 5 times as long. Everything takes 2 to 5 times as in terms of cost as you originally estimated. But if you keep on recommitting to it, it's actually amazing what you can accomplish. It's the whole Tony Robbins quote. I think he said, and he may have gotten this from somebody, it was like, people overestimate what they can do in a year, but entirely underestimate what they can do in a decade. And there's just something with these like time stretches that we tend to get skewed on. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. The last sprint of the year is going to be enormous. And I'm going to make sure I don't waste it.
Nice, man. What are you going to do to celebrate after you're done your last one?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is the question.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Let me look at my calendar. I think, if I had to pick my celebration, it would literally be to spend 4 to 6 hours just doing what I want. Which my perfect day, as weird as this sounds, is like waking up, cleaning up my house, and listening to podcasts along the way. There's just something to that. Like I like the optical progress of cleaning your house, and then also the progress of listening to something while simultaneously getting something else done. And then I would go to the gym for anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours, and then go like ride my bike there, and then ride my bike to get some sort of like massive salad at this place called Urban Plates, which is amazing. So if like that would be my celebration, or maybe even go to the beach and read for a little while.
Nice. So are you planning? I think you should start planning something out.
Yeah, that's probably true.
At the end,
yeah, that's probably true.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Also, so I should do that. I will do that.
Nice. So what are you specifically trying to get done this week? Did you say that, or I feel like it?
Yeah, so I've got to get done the seminars this week. So I've got seminars I've got to get done, which are Tuesday and Thursday, and then I'm building out the sales funnel for everything. So I've got a bunch of cases in the pipeline that I have to do analysis on to complete, and then schedule meetings for. So everything, I'm trying to set everything up. As Ray knows, if you are operating a business, everything should be set up in predictable stages. And on the sales side, it should be set up in something called sales funnels, which is just very predictable inch by inch stages that a prospect would then turn into a client for. So I'm currently building that out for the seminar pipeline. So, yeah. Nice.
Well, actually, I'm curious about this too. How are you feeling? What have you noticed from the very first one you've done to like now? What kind of things or insights have you gained in terms of like launching these seminars, or like what do you feel like you gained from that?
Yeah, well, I think the highest level thing is when you commit to something that's relatively complex, and it's always more complex than you originally estimate if you haven't done it before. So there's literally 53 steps now that I know that like have to be done from before and after. And there's probably going to end up be like 75. So, but when you go through something to its completion, you can't focus on all 53, right? It's kind of like you focus on the one, and then you fix that one, and then the next round you focus on the next one, and the next one, the next one. That's why the things have to be done in volume. So what the things that I first learned, I was entirely focused on, sending out the marketing and then getting people to their butts in the seats. That's a whole process in itself. Mm-hmm. So like, let's say all of my focus, 95% of my focus was there. Oh, how do I do all this? And it's like handwritten thank you cards, text message follow-up, phone calls, emails, etc. Which sounds so obvious, but it's not so obvious. Like the spacing, the frequency at which you have to do those, the even getting the right person on the phone. So for instance, like I had one person making those phone calls earlier. Now I have a different person, right? Who's more bubbly and who's more like, that makes a big difference, right? Like all of those little nuances make a huge difference. So then you do all those things. It's like, oh, great. I got the people to the seats. It's like, oh shit. Well, I haven't really mastered my presentation. Now there's 50 people here, right? And I haven't mastered I know my presentation, but I haven't mastered it. So, and then it's like, okay, well, how do I start getting really good at the presentation? So like all of those little tweaks, man, I guess the biggest thing that I've gotten is don't judge yourself on the entirety of the process, but hold yourself accountable to focus on one or a few of the essential pieces of the process for that particular stage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, that's awesome. Yeah, that is a really it's such a complex thing too, because you're laying the money out for it, which is like a whole decision you can get hung up forever, where it's like, fuck, is this going to work? And then you're doing it. Yeah, it's definitely an admirable thing to like lay the money out, follow through, get people to actually show up. Because you can do one, people didn't show up, and you go, no, I tried, it didn't really work. And it's like, well, You didn't really do it all the way.
No, man, you got to commit to a season. I think what I learned in sports is that when you try a new sport, you're initially going to be attracted by the idea because it's new. And then when you get there, you're going to realize that you completely suck at it. And then you're going to want to quit, like, by the first game, by the second game. But you have to commit to an entire season, because then you get to see the entire scope and you get to see your progress through that season. If you don't commit to a season, there's no reason to play. Now, I personally think the business season is 25 years. Commit to something you're willing to do for 25 years. Not willing to do it for 25 years, don't do it. And if that's too long for you, commit to 5 years. If it's anything under than 5 years, in my opinion, it's not worth it from a business perspective. It's almost greedy. It's almost greedy to say, I want to try this for 6 months in business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I do think very early in your career, it's important to dabble. So I would accept that 6 month period, but no fewer than 6 months. But once you're in the, let's say, the hot zone of your career, right? Like you and I don't think should be saying, oh, well, let's try something for 10 days.
Yeah.
I think at this point it is, am I willing to try this for 5 years minimum? I prefer 25 years. Am I willing to do this for the next 25 years? And that just helps create a more firm line in the sand of like, yes or no, hell yes or no.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, and it's like, this is the thing too, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about this, where it's like, it's so hard. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I'm just kind of scatterbrained, but it's like, I feel like it's increasingly hard for people to commit themselves to anything anymore.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like you were even like, especially for a younger person, like, dude, buried ahead and just do this for 5 years. Make sure you pick the right thing. Obviously, don't waste your time with some bullshit. But it's like, yeah, like this. At 30, I could be like, I'll do this for 10 years. Once you start getting a little older, it's easier to commit yourself to these chunks of time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's like a superpower for like someone in their 20s to be like, dude, I'm gonna fucking focus on this thing and just see this thing through for 5 years. A lot of times I read books by like Joseph Campbell's a guy I like to read a lot. He talks about like comparative mythology. Dude, like, it's a similar thing where like this guy produced these like wonderful, amazing books, but he had to spend fucking years just reading like primary sources from like ancient texts and codices and all this stuff. And it's like, it'd be easy to be like, yeah, I think I'm wasting my fucking time. Like, I'm reading all these stupid books, and it's like, yeah, man, it's like getting through that slog, as long as it's connected to something you care about. It's amazing what that yields. But,
it's insane. And I don't want somebody to take this too far. It's not like you have to go to a company and say, yeah, I'm definitely going to work here for the next 25 years. I'm definitely going to work here for the next 5 years. I think it's at the right level of resolution where you commit to something. I'm going to go into finance for the next 25 years. I'm going to go into project management. It doesn't have to be at the company. So you have to be careful to what level of commitment, because you could overcommit to, let's say, an organization. If you get into a company and you commit to 5 years, but they treat you like shit, you should probably leave. But I think in general, the genre of what you are going to do, that is what the commitment should be, in my opinion.
No, that's true. And again, yeah, there's always like a little thing to say, like, well, what about this? It's like, obviously, yeah, you're always using your discernment. And yeah, it's like, you wouldn't really be committing yourself to like company X. It's like, what are you bringing to the table and what are you actually trying to do by working there? But yeah, I'm gonna grab SVVD. If you don't want to come up, no problem. If you can, cool.
Let's do it.
We'll see. And if not, I'm thinking about DJ too. I just want to grab a bro.
Good.
What's up, brother? What you doing?
I can't stay here for long. I'm at work, but just
What's
chilling.
up, dude?
Nice,
what up?
Do you want me to let you go? I don't want to get you messed up at work.
Nah, no one's here right now, and I don't have much to do.
All right. So what's your? This is Wes. This is what I was talking about earlier. I think on Monday, I guess Labor Day, whatever that was. So how have you implemented anything, or like what are you looking like right now?
Yeah, I wrote down my shit for the week. So,
Hell yeah.
But I joined a book club with some of the guys from the Discord. We're reading Walden right now.
Nice.
Pretty sick book. So that's taken up a lot of time. And then so what I wrote down was I want to swim twice, jiu-jitsu at least once, go skateboarding at least once. Try and meditate, try and start that at least twice this week. And then just continue Walden, stay off the weed.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, dude, you mind if we check in Friday and see how you did?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. All right.
Let's do it, man.
Peace.
All right, brother.
Later, brother.
Yes, that's all I needed. Fantastic.
Well, I liked his list because it's extremely achievable and it's check markable. Right. Yep. I
Yep.
did this. I did this. I did this. Absolutely.
Yep. Dude, I'm telling you, it's what I do every morning. It's like the thing I make sure I do every single time of like, what time is it right now? What time do I have to stop working? And then that little time frame is every minute's accounted for the most part. You know, every now and again I'll take like a 15-minute gap between things because it's like, you know, I got to eat, obviously. The first day I just totally forgot to write about eating and I was like, so yeah, man, it's like just that it's such a simple thing to do. And then you just hold yourself in your seat. Like you were saying, hold yourself in the seat and actually follow through with stuff.
Yep.
Because it's like, dude, I've been thinking about this a lot. If you're not doing this, the thing that you get unconsciously kind of pushed into, like the life you get is that of purely the spectator's life. Spectator and a critic's life. And you just get to just sit back and just be like, oh, this sucks. Oh, this thing's amazing. Oh, this thing's so... And it's like, dude, and that's cool and all. You know, it's cool to enjoy stuff or have an opinion on things, but like, what are you up to personally? You know, and it's easy to get lost in the sauce of that. And it's like, yeah, man, if people are out there being like, this job sucks, it's like, dude, I almost guarantee you're not disciplined in your time and what you're doing. And it's like, it's great. It's night and day when you start doing this.
Oh yeah. There's so many different levels of productivity. You know, I'd like to think that I'm way better than I was in the past at being productive. But then I look at myself, let's say, like compared to a business titan like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, et cetera. It's like, oh my, like the amount of shit that they get done every single day. And the fact that they know how to get other people to do what they want them to do over the course of the day is unbelievable. It's so unreal.
Yeah, man. And again, it's just like, yeah, it's unfathomable almost, honestly. But it's really just, can you get yourself out of kind of just like kicking rocks down the road into just like doing something or anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and actually being up to something when you are a spectator in a certain area of life. Let's say you go and you watch a sports game, etc. When you're actually up to stuff in your life, it gives you a sense of empathy to maybe not critique the athletes as much as you normally would if you were yourself were not up to something. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, how could he not catch that pass? Well, I don't know, maybe because it's fucking hard. Yeah. Maybe it's hard to catch that pass when you have like a 300-pound person running at your face trying to knock your head off. Maybe it's a little hard.
Yeah, when you hear a linebacker breathing, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Right. So I think being up to something is your obligation, not only to yourself, but to society, because it gives you a sense of empathy for those who are also trying to excel at their craft.
No, I hear that makes a lot of sense. And it does kind of, it does change everything when you try to do something. You're like, oh shit, man, this is fucking hard. This is everything. It's hard as fuck. Let me toss up. Ray said they learned some stuff on the scorecard team. I'd be curious to see what they came up with. And in the meantime too, yeah, like, dude, I feel like, you know, I'm being honest, I feel like we're hitting a wall of just, and it's a good thing, honestly, of just constantly repeating the fundamentals, dude, and keeping people focused and geared towards, really, this is all this has been about, is like, what do you know what you're up to on Monday? And then are you able to quantify whether or not you did that on Friday? Very simple, dude.
Mr. Ray, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
What's happening, Kings? Yeah, Matt, the fundamentals are what it is, and what Wes calls micro habits, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's amazing since Wes has gone on seminar sabbatical, the scorecard team has fallen to tatters. And so, and it's just funny how, like, and it's not because Wes isn't there. It's just because of like without as strong a team, it really affects motivation, right? And so, the weight is up. You know, the exercise is down, and I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying it's just like you said, it's the fundamentals. I'm also kind of seeing it creep into my work habits too. You know, like those daily fundamentals are the foundation of like a really successful life. And so SVVD, what he's doing like is like, he's not talking about getting rich. He's not talking about getting shredded. But what I'm hearing is like, it's a really solid foundation. You know, like I said, it took me all year to sell something worth $100,000. But the thing is, like, if I just played Nintendo for a year, I couldn't have landed that account, right? It's like the training myself every day. So yeah, so that's my mission, is to work on the fundamentals. Now, enough about myself. What John Walter, the learning segment he turned on was by this guy called Gabor Mate, who is like a therapist who specializes in addiction. And but he didn't really talk about addiction. He just said a lot broader points. Don't make work your identity, which is which is, I mean, like so many things in life, it's like, it's our primary, it has to, like, you know, in order to create a impenetrable financial wall around our family, as Jim Rohn says, we need to spend most of our day working, right? But then how do you not make it your identity? The key is pay as much attention to the internal as you do to the external. You know, and the way I, like, another cheesy way of saying I thought was work on your heart as much as you work on your brain.
Hell yeah.
And then he's a doctor and a therapist, but he always wanted to be a writer. So a wise man told him, you will become a writer when you have something to teach the world. And so I thought that was interesting. Like, and again, so not that you should sit on your butt and just play Nintendo until you have something to teach the world, but like keep working on your craft, keep doing your job, and you will become successful when you have something to give the world.
Yeah, I like that, man. I saw that you put that in the comment, and I really like that a lot. That idea of, like, especially for writing too. It is funny because everyone's like, my head's so full of good ideas, and like, why? And it's like, well, what the fuck? What do you have to offer other than the fact that you think you should have it? And that's like across all fronts too. Like, I want a bunch of money. I want this and that. It's like, well, what do you have to offer, dude? Besides the fact that you want it. The other thing you were saying too that I like a lot. I came from there's a similar model, but for like slightly different. But they were saying too, it's like when you get kind of, you need both parts. You need your logical mind. You need more of like kind of being able to navigate kind of like intuitively and kind of from the heart or soul, however you want to put it. And it's like 3D glasses. You have the red and you have the blue. And if you just look through either one, you can't really see it. But when the two kind of combine, it like the picture forms and you're like, oh, this is great. So totally agree.
Yeah, and Ray, to add on that quote, I think what the internet has done is given us room for the space prior to becoming a master at the overall craft. And it's given us space to teach along the way. But one of the things that drives me crazy about gurus is all these gurus try to pretend like they're at the top of the mountain when most of them are not, you know. But there's definitely space for saying, hey, I'm trying to get to the top of the mountain, and here's the little micro steps I'm learning along the way. Not saying that I'm at the peak, but I'm saying, hey, if you're trying to tag along with me, let's do it. And I would love to hear from you as well. So I'd hate for guys to hear that quote and say, oh, well, I don't have anything to share before I get to the pinnacle. It's like, no, you can share right now, but don't act like you're at the pinnacle. That's what will turn people off.
That makes sense. That's a good thing to tack onto that. Yeah, I agree. It's like, you know,
another way to look at it is like, just because you're not a New York Times bestseller doesn't mean you should stop writing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would argue you should write every single day.
Yep. Yeah, or if it's like, you know, again, it's, and this, you can translate this to anything. It's like, well, you know, if that's your only motivator, it's like, that's going to be a pretty miserable fucking journey. If you're like, I'm not going to be happy. Because chances are you would say you did get it, and you would go, I guess this is cool. I don't know. Like, you know, you're on the thing, and then you go off after a month. It's like, you have to really enjoy what you're doing fully at the depths of just doing it. And it's like, if you can do that, either do or you don't. And if you can, your life becomes so much better.
Yeah, and Ray, if you don't mind me asking, what's your biggest challenge right now?
The biggest challenge is, I guess in my work, the biggest challenge is it's motivation. You know, like if I send someone a painting and they say no, and I send them another painting and they say no, it's like an actor going out for auditions. I have to find the inspiration that keeps sending them paintings, even though there might be an infinite amount of no's waiting for me on the other end.
Got it. You mind if I comment on that?
Please.
So one thing I might want to consider, I would consider in your shoes is the first thing is, how do you look at yourself? Do you look at yourself as a salesperson, or is it a teacher, or is it someone who shares? Like if you had to get honest and I said, hey, what is the thing inside you tell you are in your occupation? What is it? What's the first thing that comes up?
Oof. Yeah, I think it's teacher, and I don't mean in a classroom, but I'm just picturing like in what roles in my job am I spiritually fulfilled, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not when I'm selling a painting, but it's really just when I'm like sharing what I love about a painting and then listening to what they love about it and having that kind of dialogue, Yep. I mean, now a close second is when I see the money deposited in my bank account. Very close second.
Yeah, because if you really, now I imagine it is not a binary thing. I imagine it's on a spectrum and it's kind of toggling along the way depending on the day. Right, I imagine if you go out and you ask a bunch of people to look at this painting and they say no, you think of yourself more as a salesman, particularly a salesman who's failing, rather than a teacher who's teaching. That's my guess. That's the kind of sense that I feel. And I run through that same identity shifting throughout the day. And I think that's where it's important for me to remember. It's like, no, I'm teaching, and it's so subtle and it sounds so obvious. But man, when I take on the identity of, oh, I'm just going to teach you this thing, and then I'll tell you how to move forward if you want to, then that's a different thing than saying, hey, I'm going to speak at you these things and then ask you for a sale. Right? Those fundamentally look the same, but internally they are entirely different. And that comes through my tonality. Like definitely, I have to remind myself almost to the point where I should probably put a little sign up somewhere on my screen or somewhere on my desk that said, like, you are a teacher. Just always remember that. Because we need those triggers, because inevitably when you're asking for something, and more importantly, this is why it's so important to keep your finances in check. Because if your finances are not in check, then the salesman part of your brain is going to come up, because then that needs the sale. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like that is one of the secrets, I think, in business. Like, keep a large chasm between your expenses and your income. If you do not have that chasm, then all of a sudden the salesman has to come out, and that just feels kind of icky,
Yeah, and I think that I think that a lot of the dogs can probably relate to that. Like, I'm thinking of Delco as a stand-up, right? Like, is he desperate to become famous, mm-hmm. or is he? So, and that I guess would be salesman, like, or is he a teacher, as in like, just like sharing his wisdom on a subject, right? Yeah. So Wes, I know with a salesman, like, when you're in salesman mode, you define yourself, I guess, by the volume of requests you make and the number of sales you close. But then how do you define a successful teacher, other than just like sharing your wisdom?
Oh yeah, so I think
is our metric.
Hold on one second, be right back.
Yep. Yeah, so I think kind of like I was hinting at before. Optically, they look very similar. So, for instance, here's the best way to describe it. If you can go from salesman to teacher, that is like night and day. That's an enormous, enormous difference. But then if you can take yourself from teacher to pastor, right, to priest, to, like, that sort of thing.
Shaman.
Exactly, right? That is light years away. Now, when I go to church, I go to this church called Saddleback. Now, this guy, Rick Warren, gets up on stage and he teaches. He preaches, right, to thousands of people. It's an enormous church. And then at the end of every single session, what do? They ask for contributions, right? So optically, it looks the same. it's a session and then a close, but internally and spiritually way different. So he is going out and teaching the masses at scale beyond what a lot of people are even capable of, but then he's still asking at scale as well. So I don't think there's anything functionally different. I think it's the delivery of it, because the internal nature is different. So the difference being beggar versus teacher or preacher, right? Beggar is desperate. Beggar is, I need everybody to do this now because I need to put food on the table. But preacher is, I'm going to deliver my religion, and then it's going to be so good that you will eventually give. If you're not going to give today, you're going to give tomorrow, right? That sort of a thing. I think that makes all the difference.
Also, I'm thinking, like, first of all, when I go out to LA, can I come to Saddleback with you? Is there like a VIP section? Is there like a meet and greet? But we'll get to that on the DM. But also, I guess, like, after he's delivered the value, then he can make the sales pitch. Well, right?
And it's not only after he's delivered the value, it's cumulative value from all of the years he's been preaching. That's why you got to commit to a game, right? A lot of people think that the sale is made in the last 3 minutes of a presentation. No, 95% of the sale should already be made before they even get to the presentation, right? Like, that's the difference. And that's why you have to play the game for a long time. Now, again, this can translate to anything in life. You know, your interactions with humans, 95% of the sale of that particular day is done prior to you sitting down to lunch or prior to the Christmas vacation. It's all prior, right? And the bulk of it is prior. It's your reputation. Your reputation is your brand. But when it comes to asking for things, this is where we get into the payback ratio. You have to be so good that when you ask for something, like, people would feel guilty not saying yes, if that makes sense. Like, people feel guilty having you not even ask for something. Does that make sense? Like, I constantly want to hear the feedback of, hey,
that's
you've given us
a value. And again, that's easy when the value is like 90-10 compared to the
Exactly. And in my opinion, man, one of the best ways to give value is to teach somebody something. Mm-hmm. Right. And the prerequisite for you to be able to teach somebody something is for you to have learned something either through experience or research, preferably both. So if you can deliver that value to somebody, and it doesn't have to be, again, preaching from, on high, it's teaching from, I'm going through this experience now, and I'm just maybe 1 inch ahead of you because I did it yesterday. Hey, here's my lesson from yesterday. But as long as it's coming from an authentic place of, I want to help you.
Yeah, here's my cheat code. It doesn't have to be like, this is this is the gospel. This like, right. It can be just a cheat code. Hey, this is something I want to share with you.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And Delco Jim is saying, there's so many times I want to ask and then don't. So Delco Jim, I assume what you're referring to probably in the stand-up comedy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, something. So, look, in general, the ask, if you've delivered so much value up front, the ask should not be hard. Mm-hmm. But I think what happens is Disney movies and movies in general really pitch us this idea that the ask is like the thing. It's the Hail Mary ask. It's the going up to the person and asking them out to for a date when they've never even met you before. Right, like walking up to them at a bar and saying, like, hey, we want to go out with me. It's like, they don't know you from anyone, right? That should not work, right? That's a Hail Mary. So I think, Delco Jim, if you're having problems with the ask, number one, it's always going to be a self-confidence issue. But my question to you would be, is it a 95% self-confidence issue, or is it the last 5%? You're never going to get rid of the last 5%. Do you know what I mean? Like, the ask is always going to be a bit of like an anxiety-provoking task. But if you've delivered so much value up front, then the ask is very casual and it's very easy. So, for instance, like I try to think of in my own life, like, let's say in business, my ask is like, what I do, I do what's called a takeaway close, which I think can be really helpful for people. So takeaway close is where you identify the people who you are not looking for at the end. So I'll teach something. I'll say, hey, by the way, we do not do derivatives trading. I can do it. I worked on the stock exchange. I could do that, but I refuse to do it. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm not the person you want to work with, right? So that's a takeaway sale, right? So it's saying, hey, and it has, right? I'm giving some honest feedback of like what I will not do. So if you are looking for that, that's not me. right? Then I say, so if you're looking for that, probably not for, I'm definitely not for you. Are you looking for that? And they say, and 99% of the time they say, of course not, because that's a very sophisticated, specific thing that most investors are not looking for, right? So I say, okay, great. So has what I said, does that sound like a good fit for you? So if you're not looking for that, does what I say, does it sound like a good fit? And I do it that's it. Like there's nothing grandiose. I don't do any other slick language. Like, does it sound like it would be a good fit for you? Right? And now, because everything is done a certain way, a very large majority of the sales close. In fact, if they come in through certain methodology, like certain veins of our sales funnel, I honestly don't remember the last one who has it. Like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 this year. But now through the seminars, that's different. Right? Like that is a very difficult thing because these people don't know me, right? They just know me from one class, and then I'm asking them to invest their money. So I'm still building that out. Right? Does that make sense?
Wes, the seminar is it's not like a hour-long sales pitch about how great you are at your job, right? It's like, are you teaching them? Are you giving away knowledge for free in 100%. Seminars?
Yeah. So it's just a class. It's about a 2-hour class, and then my ask. Now this is for Delco Gym. The other thing to ask yourself is, how far is your ask? If you're asking someone, let's say, you just met them and you're asking them to marry you, right? Like that's an obvious exaggeration, but it's too far of an ask. Like there's no bridge that long to bridge that gap, right? So like my ask in the class is not to invest their money. It's to, hey, if you want to come to a free strategy session with me where I can put some of this analysis techniques to your portfolio, then let me know, right? That's the ask. It's just the next inch. It's not the next mile. Very, very important. Oh yeah. Now, and again, this translates to every relationship in life. Like when guys, have trouble getting dates, right? Oftentimes the ask is like their interaction is way too shallow, and then their ask is way too deep, right? So you have to reverse those, right? Provide so much value up front. Ideally, in an asking out on the date situation, your reputation should precede you. And your value reputation should be like so deep that it's like, oh yeah, they want to go out with you before you even ask. The ask is just because they're embarrassed or not confident enough to ask you, right? Do you know what I mean? It should be at that level of value contribution or value exchange.
Yeah, and again, it all comes from doing what you're supposed to be doing every day, all day.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It looks like DJ is willing to come on the screen. Did I read
let's
that correctly?
I'll grab real quick because I think I got like 10 more minutes.
Let's do it.
Started a little late. What was the question he was asking?
He said he wished he could make the ask. Yeah.
What's up, bro?
What's up, buddy?
So what kind of ask are we talking here?
I'm talking specifically in my situation. I'm talking about like comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like bookers and I feel like it's so awkward. Like, all right, so I'm in with this one booker and he's put me on a bunch of shows. And I always find it difficult to be like, hey, I want to be on this show. But then I see dudes who are not putting in the work that I am, feeling like they don't have any problem doing that.
Sure.
And I always feel so weird about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, comedy's a different beast too, because especially when you're starting out, you have no idea, whether you're providing value or not, because it's like, it's so touch and go. Every different show is like, you do good one show, you do bad another show. You're like, oh, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm good, I'm bad. Yeah, man, I feel like it's just as long for that. The answer to that is really just kind of being like, just feeling the person out and just being like, hey, man, I would love to do this, and I don't want to be a pain in the ass, but I'd love to be on the show. I'm just trying to get on, especially if hey, I'm just trying to get on stage more. I'd love to do this one. Because there's also 100 other comedians being like, hey, can I do this? Hey, can I do this? So
right, and I'm trying to it's like in my head, I'm like, I don't want to be one of those guys. Because fucking, because this it's like I'll listen to him like bitch about these people that are doing that, and I'm like, well, like 5 minutes ago I was about to walk up on you and fucking do the same thing.
Can I ask you a question about it?
Yeah.
So, and both of you guys can probably give me insight on this. So, who are you asking? What's the dynamic? Does it have to be in person? Is it by phone call? What's the modality? Like, give me an orientation around what this ask is.
So, like, this specific instance, like, that I'm referring to is, like, I go to this dude's club every single week for, like, the past year. and like I'm in with him, like he books me on shows or whatever, and like I always feel awkward, like it's just weird like asking him to like put me on a show, like a specific show, like but then I see other people who, you know, who really are not as frequent at this club and like don't do, you know, they don't really do shit as often as I do, and I just like I'm almost like envious of how easily they just like approach this guy. I don't know, I feel like I tiptoe around shit all the time, and it's like really like it makes it fucking like difficult sometimes.
Can I throw something out there too?
Yeah.
I would consider a pre-ask. That really is a circumnavigating way for the ask. So for instance, pre-asks are, hey, and I recommend this for people trying to get promotions as well. It's, hey John, what would I have to do to get up on stage for you? Or like, what are the prerequisite things that you put somebody on certain shows? And again, I don't know enough of the context, and maybe that's like a weird thing, but that's what I would consider doing, right? Because that doesn't put as much pressure. It's like, what are the boxes I have to check for you to obtain this goal that you're obviously the gatekeeper of? And people can use this for their employers as well. Hey, Mr. Boss, right? What do I have to do to get a promotion 5 months from now, 6 months from now?
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense because it cuts out that whole a lot of the worry, and correct me if I'm wrong around this, is being like, I don't want to be those people who are like just assuming I deserve this and I, you know, give it to me now. So I think that's a really good way of being like, you know, like what, you know, I'd like to do this, but I don't want to just like foist myself upon you. So like, what would you need? What would you need to see from me in order to, you know, for me to do this? I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
And then you can change the modality as well. So for instance, if you, I don't know if you have this guy's phone number, you can always have a scripted text message or call him on the phone. That might reduce the anxiety, right? And then you could put disclaimers around it, or like, you know, things that water it down. So, hey, this might be a weird question, you know, it's something like that. Or like, hey, not trying to put you in a weird spot. I was just wondering, you know, if I wanted to be up at a club like yours, you know, what were the prerequisites? So you can put those little softeners in there. Hey, let me know if I'm out of line. Or, hey, I know you're super busy, but just wanted to run something past you. Like those little things help soften the ask. That doesn't have to be like, hey, John, tell me, like, can I be on there tomorrow night? Because that's what's in the movies. You know, the movies is like trying to swing for the fences of like, I want to be up here tonight, man. Like, put me on. How do I get on?
Yep, it's crazy. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm absolutely in love with like what I'm doing right now. It's such a hustle. It's like, it's really fucking fascinating. I feel like I'm learning shit every day. I don't know, and it's it's nuts. It's such a nuts thing to spend every night doing. Yep. It feels insane. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's it. It's like you just keep doing that, and then it's, you know, you just, I would say too, you can spend forever hesitating on that, just as long as you're somewhat cognizant of the fact of being like, hey man, I'm not trying to force myself on you, but like, here's what I'd like to do, what do I got to do? 99% of people are going to respond favorably, and even especially within the realm of stand-up, if somebody is like, fuck off, man, just fuck them, dude. It doesn't, you know, when you're doing this, you're convinced that all these bookers and all these people are like the gatekeepers to absolute heaven. It's just not the case, dude. They're the gatekeepers of local showcases. They'll convince you that they're fucking like, you know, if you don't get in with them, it's over. They all fucking do it. It doesn't matter.
It's fucking mental, dude. And I knew nothing about it.
Yeah,
and now I'm learning. You know, I'm earning my stripes, I guess, or whatever. Just, you know, it's weird. I'm meeting some weird fucking people. You know, it's
a very specific thing, and it's hard. I would think it's hard for people to understand. Maybe it's not, but outside of comedy, like, it's just a different scenario, and you get these guys who run local shows, and not, you know, some of them are cool. But my experience is a lot of times they're convincing you like they're it, and if you want any shot in this at all, you need to blah blah, and it's just fucking bullshit. It's like, just get as good as you can, you know. Ask people nicely. If you want to go on stage, just ask to get on stage, and, you know, just enjoy the whole thing, because it's so easy to get twisted up in that whole, like, oh my god, this show and this that blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Literally,
I got this. Like, I have a show on Saturday, and I'm up in New York, and it's an audition for a residency at this club. Mm-hmm. And the booker has been like sending messages like every day that's like, hey, like, don't forget, like, you got to bring all these people and fucking, you know,
this is a bringer show.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, dude, you know, like, these fucking, this is the industry room. Fucking,
no, it's not. It's bullshit.
Here.
It's bullshit.
And everyone I've talked to is like, it's just a load of shit, dude.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just anyone that asks you to bring people with you, you can safely discount that as not mattering. It's someone trying to sell drinks to people.
It's literally all it is. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's
don't.
crazy. Stressed out.
Yeah, another thing I want to throw out there too, bud, is you want to do your best to not have a market of one. So, like, if you're only asking one guy to be put on that show, it's like, how do you have an actual market, a critical mass, so that you can play it off of one another? Hey, John, how do I get on your show? Because I asked Steve over here how to get on his show, and he put me on last week. And blah, blah. Like, you're letting the market know that you are marketable. But if you're only selling to a market of one, right, then you have the beggars type of mentality, because you don't have other options, and it's very difficult to fake having options. Yeah. Like, a lot of guys do this in dating. Like, that's what a lot of these, like, peacocking stuff is in dating and, like, pickup artistry, right? It's you're trying to pretend, you're trying to adopt the persona ahead of time that you have options, which can be done. It's just extremely hard. It's hard to replicate the persona that you actually have when you do have options. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's I'm telling you, it's stand-up, it's very cut and dry, where it's like you just want to try to do as well as you can every time. And there are people who will network their way through it, but it's like
that's the proof's
in the pudding, dude. Proof's in the pudding.
At the end of the day, I just want my, like, you know what I mean? I want my act and my material to be the number one thing. Like, I don't like the networking thing. Like, it comes easy to me, but at the same time, like, I hate the way that it, like, plays out when I, like, do these shows, like, all over.
Yeah, don't. I mean, dude, how long have you been doing stand-up for?
Like 9 months.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. All you have to worry about is being as funny as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what Matt's saying. And now, I don't know, but I assume the internet would also give you a platform. It's that whole idea of be so good they can't ignore you. It's just the problem is, yeah, and most people don't give themselves a long enough runway to be able to become outstanding. So they need to rely on the little tricks along the way. But, I mean, think about it. If a guy's really good at selling people and getting on stage, but then he sucks, I'd imagine his career is very short-lived.
Right.
Right. Versus being excellent, you're going to have infinite shows in the future.
Yeah, I mean, and all it is, dude, there's two primary factors. One, do you have good material? Are you good at what you do? You might have that, but then it's like, can you fill seats? So there's a lot of people who are very funny that can't fill seats. So it's like, I wouldn't even worry about filling seats until you're very confident in doing an hour of stand-up.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just in the blender, getting better and better and better. Because that's it. All these people who concern themselves, oh, this showcase, that showcase, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. It's like, just get as funny as you can, because everyone is light years away from headlining and selling tickets on a national, like a national level.
I know, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's just, I just feel like I'm in this fucking, like, echo chamber where these people, they perform for the same fucking people, like, every fucking night, and like, it's like they're getting, like, this validation from, like, these same fucking people, and it's just like, it's one of the reasons, like, I'm going other places to do it, is because it's just so fucking
99. You're in a situation, again, I think this is strictly a weird stand-up thing, but you're in a situation where 99% of the people you're talking to will never make a living doing stand-up. That's the brutal reality of it. So, trust me, it's fun. You go, you want to have fun. Just be yourself, have fun, and just do what you got to do, and just do it for the love of it. And if you're in it to, like, everyone's convinced they're about to blow up, and it's just a never-ending. Some guy told me this. The screenwriting teacher is like, it's just a video game with never-ending amount of levels, and you get up another level and you go ooh, and you get up another level and go ooh, and it's like, if you're just in it to ascend the levels, it's like, guess what? You're never going to get to the top. So
I was just talking to someone the other day who basically, he was telling me, he was like, just be yourself, don't worry about it, like, have fun, because he was basically saying, like, I don't know how many times I thought that I was doing this full time, and then it ended up not being the thing.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to say to everybody too. It's like, if you don't know what to do with yourself on any level, it's like, and I think Wes would perhaps agree with this. It's like, well, the most simple thing you can do is try to become financially independent, like, as much as possible. By saving, like, just beefing the savings up, so that when the time comes where you figure out what you might want to do, you're free to then go do that thing. And it's like, that's an easy one, man. Set a budget. Try to start saving some money so that you can kind of put a little oxygen in your tank if you want to go explore other things. It's like, and that's what you can do for stand up for anything. It's like, it's not about this, it's not about that. It's about gaining independence for you to be able to do what you want and not be kind of blown around by other forces.
Yeah, it's hard because like, I know I want to do this. I fucking love doing it. It's fucking like the greatest thing I've ever done, and I know I love it. And I fucking I work very hard to be able to do it, and it just feels like I don't know. It's just crazy. Like it feels good to be like so committed to something. I've never like had this feeling before, so I just want to take it and run with it. You know, it's like fucking. But it's tough because it's like how does anyone give you advice on it? Because everyone's different.
Yeah, I can comment on that.
Everyone's journey in this thing we do is like different. It's weird.
Yeah, but so yes and no. So yes, everyone is slightly different, and this is why it's beautiful to watch you and Matt interact. And this is why it's so important to have a coach or mentors in the journey that you're trying to go down, because Matt can tell you what berries not to eat. Right, like you're going down the same landscape that he went down. It might not be exact step by step, but he can tell you don't eat those berries over there because those will kill you, or don't get distracted by that route over there because that actually doesn't lead to anywhere. Right, so don't get confused on Matt's journey was different, but it wasn't too different. Right, I can't comment on stand-up comedy, shows and all that kind of stuff. Matt certainly can, so he can tell you, hey, don't get distracted by these things. Like look what he just told you. Focus on these two things. And you're not at this one thing yet, so focus on this thing. And it might sound so obvious, but what you might need is not teaching, you might need reminding, right? And a mentor can help remind you of the things that need to be reminded. I see it all the time in my industry. Younger guys will come to me all the time and say, like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? Or what if the prospect says this? It's like, dude, I can tell you haven't been doing this for a long time because they never say that. I've been doing this for over a decade, and they never say that. You're making up these problems. Right, that's why you need somebody who's already done it to like pick their brain along the way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, just do it for the love of it. And if it buds into something else, awesome. But it's like people need to be real with themselves. It's a very intoxicating thing to do, but the reality of it is just brutal and stark. And it's like if you can just do it because you love it, it'll be way more easy. If when that's what everyone does. They get into it, they get a little taste, they get booked. In everyone's head, they all go, "Oh man, I'm on my way up," and it's like, well, yeah, just assume that it's going to take 10 years before you get paid to do it professionally, at least. And if it takes less than that, cool. Mm-hmm. Maybe it might take 20. Like, yeah, guys like Louis C.K. He's like, dude, it took me 20 years before I was on.
Right, he was like bombing.
He was on
years.
He was an SNL. No, he was like writing for SNL and shit. The guy was doing stuff. But it's like, hey man, I would agree. I would put that almost around anything. It's like, dude, again, it's that whole thing we've said before of like, do it for the love of it, and let the outcome be the outcome. But let the outcome be what it is. As much be at peace with that, but just kind of do your thing and do it for the love of it. And you'll be a lot of the other stuff will tend to take care of itself. And it's not a casual thing. It's a very intense occupation that comes with a lot.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be careful on when people or yourself define time, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I did it for this amount of time." It's like, no, you didn't. Right, like you did it every other Friday, for 3 years. That's not the same thing as doing it for 3 years, right? I've got to imagine that Jerry Seinfeld's 3 years of execution was not the same thing as the comedian you never heard of, his 3 years of execution, right? So we play those games on ourselves. Like frequency and duration are the most important factors of time. Frequency, duration. That's how you should define time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's it. Like I said, just enjoy it and, don't get caught up in all the hype of it because it's, it's really not a big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
All right,
well, keep it up, brother.
All right.
Good having you on, dude. Peace out.
Yeah, man.
Later on.
Take it easy, fellas.
See you, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Yep, that is the brutal truth about that. It's 99% of people, turns into a social club for them and they hang out and have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a fun thing to do. It's a fun activity.
Yeah.
But you get kind of like, who's this and that, and you just got to do it, be good, and hope it works out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like Stephen Pressfield. Yeah, Stephen Pressfield, there's a difference between an amateur and a professional.
Yes.
And the difference is not how long they've been doing something. The difference is what they do every day.
Yes.
Right. So is what you're doing, is it at the professional level because you're putting the inputs, or is it an amateur level where you're treating it like a hobby?
Yes, dude. That's kind of the nuts and bolts of every single thing you can try to do.
Yep.
So
100%.
All right,
dude. See you on Friday, brother.
Later on.